Hey, I know I've been trying to do this for some time now. Start a blog, and it's been over a few years, or vlog over a few years, and I've tried and said I was going to do this, but now I'm kind of going to put my hands to the plow. I want to put out some videos there out there to help my fellow youth pastors, children's pastors, workers with aspects of ministry. I feel it's part of my calling that I want to raise up the next generation of youth workers and children's workers to work in the ministry field. And I think I'm just going to start with this and see where it leads. So once a week, I want to post this online for you guys to view. It's totally free. Doesn't cost me anything to do it, and I don't want it to cost you guys anything. I just want to give you another resource so that you guys can do some great things with your ministries and stuff like that. So with no further ado, I wanted to talk about integrity today. I think the most important thing in ministry is integrity. But more specifically with that integrity, I wanted to talk about integrity and honesty with your senior pastor and being clear with them all the time. And I know there's been times where my senior pastors weren't certain if I was being completely honest and clear. And let me put this out first. There are certain personal things that you do not need to share with anybody, or even with your senior pastor, unless you feel like that person is going to help you and guide you through those issues. With that said, though, with all aspects of ministry and in your life, I kind of believe in clarity and personal accountability with it. And so, over the sorry, someone just opened the door. So over the next few minutes, I want to talk to you a little bit about why it's important to be honest and clear with your senior pastor. Listen, I've had some issues and times where, man, I was afraid to tell my pastor what happened at youth group or what happened on Sunday morning, what happened with a person in a leadership meeting or at a camp or retreat. And because I thought I thought this was like, I just don't want to disappoint him. I want to make him happy. I want to tell him all the wins and how we got kids saved. And I was always wanting to tell him that. But when it came down to the down parts, like, you know what, I had a parent mad at me and they cussed me out in my office to, I found out two of the kids are sleeping with each other at camp and, and the worst possible situation, that you could possibly imagine with any of these things. Well, I've got some issues sometimes where I really, man, I'm going to be, I'm going to get in trouble for this. It's just another thing that adds to the list of things that I've done that just isn't going to work. But to be honest, our job as youth pastors, as children's workers, as children's pastors, youth workers, whatever your title is, our job isn't to support and build our own kingdom. It's to build the kingdom of God and to serve our senior pastor as our head leader. And so I want to first say that when we come and we are on staff as a pastor, you need to serve that pastor. You need to know that pastor as well. Know what he wants. If something happens and it's important that you're headed home and it's Wednesday night and it's 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and your pastor is either getting ready for bed or is asleep already. But if you don't give him a call that very minute, or if you don't text him and let him know what went down, and you wait till the next morning and for some reason he has heard it from 10 or 12 different people, and then you're the 13th person that he finds it from, you're going to be in trouble. You need to text or call your pastor and let him know if something major happens. Now, I'm not talking about, kid gets hurt playing dodgeball at youth group. Those things happen. That's not, I gotta let my pastor know, kid got hurt. Now, if the kid got hurt and went to the hospital and was severely injured, yes. But if the kid, sprained his ankle and you needed to write up a report or whatever your church's policies are for that, you go ahead and do it. You do what you need to do, and you let your pastor know the next day or two, or when you meet with him. Hey, we had an issue. Kid sprained his leg. I wrote up a report. It's in the policy. But if the kid went to the hospital, parents need to be notified. Pastor needs to be notified. Everybody that was involved needs to write up something, and you have to have witnesses. That's just important issue of safety and stuff like that in the church. But you want to let your pastor know. There's been a couple issues in my ministry, my current ministry, where I screwed up, I messed up. It was my fault, and it was hard. But I had called my pastor and I said, "Hey, listen, I lost my temper. I did this. I had an argument, a disagreement with the leader. They ended up walking out. They were mad. If it was a major issue, something that was going to affect a majority of the people at youth group or was seen, I let my pastor know. There's only been 2 super major incidents in my time at my current position where I needed to let my pastor know about something immediately, and I did. And he walked me through it and showed me grace, showed me love. It wasn't something that was immediate termination, but in his mind, if I didn't tell him, that was termination. If he heard from 2 or 3 other people before he heard from me, I would have probably lost my job and my ministry, and that wouldn't have looked good for future ministries. So it wasn't for a fact of fear that I was going to lose my job. It's for a fact that I said to myself at one point that I'm going to be honest and open with my senior pastor. And so I want to encourage you guys, even if it's hard, even if you know your pastor and you say, if I tell him this, I'm most likely going to be suspended, or I'm going to lose my job, or I'm going to lose my ministry position. He's been hounding me already about stuff. Even if you guys know that, you need to be honest with him. He's your senior leader, and in all retrospect, if you do lose your job, if you do lose your ministry position, you know that you were accountable. You held your integrity. You told them what was right. Now, if it's a severe issue where it's an issue of morality, you need to tell them. I know it's hard, but we made the mistake. If you did that, you need to tell them. And here's the issues: is I've heard of youth pastors who get text messages, sexting, different inappropriate kind of messages from teenagers, and they let people know, but they don't let your senior pastor know. That's inappropriate. You need to tell your pastor. You may not have responded back. You may have not even asked for something. It may not even be your fault. But this is an issue that you need to let your pastor know immediately. Something goes wrong with a parent, things that your pastor or your direct report need to know immediately, that you were involved in this issue. It may not be your fault, but there's an issue here where you're the leader and you need to take responsibility, or you need to communicate what's the issue, and then communicate to the proper authorities or the proper people, the proper channels, so that the student will receive healing and guidance, counseling, whatever they need. So over the next few weeks, we'll be talking about some more things. Maybe next week, talking about social media and how we can use it to benefit our ministries, and how it can be the most destructive thing in our ministries. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will talk to you again. See you guys all in a week. All right, bye. God bless.